Today we'll be talking about things that you don't want to do, but you have to do. Listen, as much as I talk about productivity, planning, organization, and even decluttering, there are times that I just simply don't feel like doing anything. So today we will talk about what to do when you don't want to do it. How do you power through that struggle? Today, I will provide you with 4 practical tips that have helped me to push through majority of the time. Let's be for real. There is no simple technique that works for everyone. But these 4 things are ones that I practice and enforce when I need to get my mind right. Step number 1 is perspective. For example, when I think about things that I do not want to do, I think about perspective. A good example of this would be working out daily or going to a social gathering and have to talk to people when I don't feel like it. Now, I consider myself an extrovert, but I would say as time has passed on, I see myself more in between. Possibly an introvert, but one thing for sure, I can turn it off and on when needed. With all that said, I will change my mindset and put myself in the shoes of someone who cannot go to an event and socialize or doesn't have the ability to go work out. These people would trade places with me in a millisecond. I'm speaking of people who have physical limitations that prevents them from moving their body, from going to the gym. I try and put myself in their shoes. Now, this may sound a bit dramatic, but have that perspective to think, how dare you not want to go to the gym and move your body and take that walk and get that vitamin D in when you have the ability to move your body? When there are people who wish they could do this, but they simply cannot. This gets me together real quick. When it comes to talking to people that I don't want to talk to in that moment, I think about my former job where I had to interact with people a lot. And I was like, Lord, please deliver me from this situation. Lord, let this event be canceled. Or even postponed. And he did just that. So when I encounter a situation, I think back to that prior situation versus the scenario that I face now. And that gets me grounded quick, fast, and in a hurry, okay? I've learned now to step back and just realize how truly blessed I am to have these resources. Even if they're not what I want them to be, I'm still in a good place. Step number 2, focusing on the end goal. Going back to the example I provided on exercise or socializing, I consider the outcome. If I actually get up and do it, I am adding to my savings account, for example. And this is ultimately a form of discipline, self-discipline. Every time I do something that I don't want to do, I am making a deposit from my account, or AKA my pool of discipline. When you get up and do something that you don't want to do, you're depositing into that savings account. As opposed to not getting up and doing the things that you don't want to do or what you need to do, perhaps saying, I'll do it a little later, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll even do it next week. You're making a withdrawal. Y'all, discipline is so very important. When I think about it as making a deposit or making a withdrawal, I ask myself, is it really worth it to make a withdrawal? There are some times that I do feel that it's worth it. Let's keep it real. There are times when I am like, nope, not gonna happen. I don't feel like it, or I just don't want to do it. And in that very moment, I make a decision for me that is worth that withdrawal. Tip number 3, think about how my decision may impact others. I always reflect back on my first 2 tips, which is about me. And I know, but please consider, this is not about you being selfish. If you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you are no good to other people. This is what I mean when thinking about how it impacts other people. If I don't do what I said I was going to do, it's adversely impacting others. One thing I despise is when people's actions impact those people who had nothing to do with the matter. What I am very careful to do is to not think about how it impacts other people more than it impacts me. Now, again, I know this sounds selfish, but understand that it's coming from a place of I'm not taking care of myself and I'm worried about what you have going on. Ultimately, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not honoring that commitment to myself. And it is impossible for me to honor the commitment to you because I'm half doing it anyway. I didn't take care of me first. I'm a very loyal person. So when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it even if I don't feel like doing it at the moment. I take note of what I say I'm going to do and what I say I'm not going to do. And finally, tip number 4, for when I don't want to do something that I know I need to do, and that is power through it. Go ahead, pump yourself up, do whatever you have to do. Run around the block, look in the mirror and tell yourself you can do this. Whatever you need to do, power through it. Show up and do what you said you would do without motivation, without discipline, and not thinking about yourself. You just got to do it. That's being an adult, adulting. Have you ever been in a situation at work where things were not going quite right? Or at the rate things are going right now, it'll never get done? This is an example of when I may not want to do things, but I have to step in and do it. I knew that it was not my job or I was not prepared to do it, but I just had to do it. Another example, say that one of your colleagues calls out from work that day and they are scheduled to give a presentation or to conduct a training. Somebody had to do it. I had to jump in and assist with that training, even though I didn't want to. I have to think about what the outcome will be down the road. Sometimes you just have to put on your big girl panties and just do it. Get it done and make it happen. This is a reminder that we all struggle with things that we do not want to do, but sometimes we just have to do them. I hope that you find these 4 practical steps helpful. Life is full of these instances, and these instances should never be your normalcy every day. You should never hate doing something day after day. Y'all, if this is the case, I highly suggest that you evaluate what is causing this. And once you figure that out, it's time to make a change. I remember my first corporate job out of college, out of undergrad actually, and this is before I pursued my master's in business administration. I tried everything under the sun to get out of that position. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. The stress that came along with it, the incompetent manager, the biased treatment. I knew long term this position was not good for me. It wasn't good for my mental health, my spiritual health, even my physical health. Every single day, without fail, I dreaded going to work. That Sunday evening or even that Sunday morning where I am praising God and enjoying church service, in the back of my mind, I am sad because I know Monday is approaching and I would have to go back to this place that I did not want to be. But yet and still, I had to tap into the mindset that I had to go to work as an adult and get it done because I knew I had to provide for myself. I had bills to pay. I had to eat. It was part of adulting. It's part of life. I didn't want to go. I did not want to be there, but I had to do it. It was the right thing to do. I accepted the job, but believe me, I didn't want to be there. Now, here's an important piece. I showed up, I was there, but that doesn't mean I have to stay there. And I encourage you to do the same thing. If you're staying in a place where you're unhappy, or you're mistreated, or you're in an environment or a situation where your light is stripped from you or your light is being dimmed, that's when you need to pivot. That is never a place for you to be. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next video.